think I was right to release them two, also Danny Parish. At the moment, I'm right. I hope they one day sort of prove me wrong, and I do, and I genuinely mean that, because they're all nice people, they're all good lads. But if you look at all what they're doing now at the moment, they've all dropped down a league and they're struggling to get in their respective teams at the moment. So I was wrong to even bring them in the first place, but you have to give it a go. I had a target I can't make public, but there was a list I had of players that I wanted to go and get. I still look at that list and I wish I still could have bought one or two of those in. I'm not going to lie.
Well, one of them playing for Horsham.
No comment. They're the sort of types you're looking for, to be honest with you, to be brutally honest. But once again, as well, you've got to be sensible with the budget. I've been given a budget that I've got to adhere to, which I have done. And also, you've got to make sure you're still getting the right character in, because the hardest part for me is I cannot break this dressing room up. I can't break the mentality, the friendship, and it only takes one bad egg to come in and the whole thing implodes. And I will always be that. I will always be a protector of the dressing room and the people that are sitting in it. And that's what makes Hastings a special team and a special club, and one we should cherish. And I'm not talking about the staff. I'm talking about them players on the pitch, because what they've done this year is top notch. And I mean that. They're brilliant.
So, Ben, just quickly, Ben, so you're going into the off-season. What's your thoughts? Have you got any targets in your mind, or are you a few old scores you're going to look forward to getting involved in again?
It's just probably testing myself at that level again. I left Lewis in the Ryman Premier to come to Hastings, and I think I scored 4 in 10 for them in a short period. So I've always been confident I could sort of play this level. I've just, want to crack on and score goals this season, regardless. Just every game I want to go into, I want to try and get my name on the score sheet. Give and take a few injuries and illnesses, like I've said earlier. I think, that probably the only thing that I feel might not have been in my favour this season, but at the moment, I was fully focused on getting fit and just playing again and enjoying football with this team, because it is, it's a special group of players. So
it certainly is. Right, boys that are listening, what was your thoughts? How did you think we were going to get on in the close season? I spoke to Mark. How did you think we were going to get on?
I'd just like to say, listening to Gary, who would want to be a manager? Because at the end of the day, you say, these are great guys and all that sort of thing. No way. Being nice to, or being friends and being nice to players, if you like, for want of a better word, doesn't make you successful, and doesn't always win you friends. So you've done well in what to keep a nice group of lads together, and they've done well for you and for themselves. Because at the end of the day, it's sometimes you have to do things, the nasty things, again, for want of a better word, things that you don't really want to do, and you like the guys and that, but you've got to be successful, and the team to be successful and do the job that you're paid to do. You have to do them things, don't you? And say, it's best that we part company. But going back to the question that you asked, I think I always thought, as long as you could keep the majority of those together, winning the league and rolling on through, and just adding a couple more players to it, I always thought we'd do well in this league above. And as Gary said, the youngsters learnt from the season before, and they took that into this year, and they've done really well.
Looking at it now, we've gone up to a very tough league, and a year ago, what position were we in the league lower? Trying to think, because that's an amazing thing for me. You haven't really changed the squad too much, and yet you've brought that spirit, that champion spirit from last season, kept your dressing room with the right atmosphere, and now doing it. What an amazing position we are. Just slightly under the radar, but right there in the hunt for the playoff places, and that's fantastic. And what I just had to remind myself is, Gary, you were playing at the start of last season, weren't you? To make that transition to manager. And it's going back to what Malk said, really. It's such a thing that very often fails, really, because you're there shoulder to shoulder on the pitch with your mates, your teammates, and then suddenly you've got to be in this managerial role and step back and make those tough decisions, think about the team rather than just the people you're playing with. And I think that's what's been really impressive from my point of view.
Yeah, go on, George.
Oh, just always hope to win more than you lose, really. But it was a massive unknown. And I think for a lot of promoted teams this season, opportunities are there with a lot of teams like ourselves who should have been promoted in previous couple of years. It was always really open. So Herb Bay have found out, what a tough division it is. I think everyone's really, really pleased with how it's gone so far. I think we're at a time at the club where the fans are happy and the management and the players about how we're doing. So I think it's usually quite a good sign. So yeah, just enjoying it.
Ian?
Yeah, I think you want to be competitive, don't you, going up? And there was an initial bit of a wobble. It was, slightly sticky start, but you kind of felt like we would get there. And I suppose expectations are always quite high because you've got a home crowd that's used to winning. So that makes things a bit tricky sometimes. I think from a personal point of view, I love seeing the kids come through. So what I wanted was to see that process continuing at the high level, which it has, which is great. Because that's one of the things I really love about watching football is seeing the kids come through from the lower ranks, kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So obviously August, bit of a sticky start. I remember it being a sweltering game against David. It was really, really hot. I can remember it being ridiculous.
Yeah, very.
And just a slip of the mind, and they sneaked to win.
And it was it was an obvious mistake as well, wasn't it, from the officials? It went
5 yards off the hit.
Yeah, it's actually one of the few games where we were under par that day. We didn't play well. We should have been better, but we still should have at least had a draw. But yeah, it was a sticky start, that's for sure. And from my first management period with Worthing, I think that's where it come in good stead for me, because not to get sort of too emotional, too down, wanting to change too much. It was just stay calm, get back on the training ground and keep hammering home good habits and how we want to play. And I think just for me personally, that was just where a little bit of experience come through for me at the right time, because I had a lot of people ringing me, get this player in, get that player in, do this, do that. And sometimes you've got to be your own man and stay solid to yourself. And I'm not saying that another spell like that will be coming. It will happen to me one day. That's why I always get a little bit edgy sort of talking to you guys, because as well as things are going at the moment, there will be a day where I'm a wally, I'm thick, I'm making the wrong decisions. And
we'd never say that, Gary. Come on.
No, but I'm sorry, it's football.
I know people are fickle. And
I've seen the highs and lows, and as I always say to Malcolm in the clubhouse, and we laugh about it, I'm in the job for another week, and that is that is literally how I view my job. But that is one of the few times where I just kept grounded and kept hammering home good habits, along with John, Meany, and Brownie. Them sort of Ben Cornett. And that's the other thing as well. It's not all me. They're absolutely massive to me to lean on. My senior players also. I speak to Stoney loads, Dicko, Pope, all of them. They've all got opinions of the game, and sometimes there's some that you've got to listen to, and there's some that you say, no, I don't agree. But that's one thing. I think you've got to be open-minded, but then at the end of the day, you've got to know it's on your shoulders, and you come down to the final decision. So yeah, it was a sticky start, but I'm blimmin' happy that I stuck to my guns about certain things, and we cracked on.
Certainly did.
I know, just picking up on that, Gary, I know, we have a laugh about it, and it is just a laugh. But I think most of the Hastings fans as well have been through it with you and know, if you see what I mean. We know that we can lose to Aberley and Hornchurch and them sort of thing, 2 or 3 games maybe, but then we're always going to have a like it was away at Folkestone, that night. It was a 0-0 draw, but we felt as if we'd come away with a 4-0 win. To go to Folkestone and do that. So we've had the highs and lows, and we may have 2 or 3 games where we think, not quite so sure. But then we know that there's going to be 2 or 3 where we're going to be on a high, if you see what I mean. It's,
no, you're absolutely spot on, and I have been lucky up till now, like with you guys and the fans. I have got a strong affinity with you guys and the fans, and as I say, I've just been lucky up till now that a lot of positive things have happened, and you have stayed really like true and loyal, and you showed your support, because it's even with what's happening with the grounds and the politics outside of the playing field at the moment. It's lucky that we are solid on the pitch, because it being brutally honest again, as I always am, it could be toxic now. If we was in the relegation zone and negative results, it would be off with my head, and we ain't got a ground, blah blah blah. So always for people and worked on solid foundations, and like as I say, you fans are an absolute credit to yourselves, and I enjoy talking to you after games. There's no problem there.
I mean, it's not luck, is it, Gary? It's because you've earned all of that through hard work and through everything you've done as a team and as a squad.
We work hard. We work hard on details, and I do pride ourselves on the training pitch. I do. Like me and John, we watch games, we watch highlights non-stop. We're talking to each other every night about stuff, and I'd like to think it's not luck, but then also, once again, I don't want to sound too big-headed and sound like I know it all. I'm a genius, because I'm not. I'm learning on the job still, and I've still got to keep improving as well, because the day I think I've cracked it will be the day I get spanked. So, just need to carry on.
Some people like being spanked, Gary.
No comment.
To me, it comes over that you can have a coaching system and that tactical approach to a game, but you've got to, when you haven't got like an open-ended choice of players, you've got to know the strengths of each player and fit them into that system to make it successful. And whatever you're doing, it's so successful at the moment. We're in a great position where people must hate to play us. We don't concede goals, so you're always in the hunt to take a win in a game, and that's what comes across to me. It reminded me a bit of the Horsham game, where the things we don't see going on behind the pitch, the little tweaks that you make tactically, are what controls a game. And we seem to, if it's not going too well first half, we seem to always come back and solve the problem in the second half. It reminded me of that Newcastle away to Arsenal. You saw Saka and Overgaard dominating play in the first half.
I knew he'd bring Arsenal into this. He's top of the league. All right.
Second half, you didn't see him, hardly anything of them, and it was just he changed something, but you couldn't quite put your finger on what. But
I think we've got that. We've got that 9 times out of 10 right. I think we always, the whole staff, we're always, I think we're proactive with our subs and with formation changes. I think that for me, up till now, has been, I reckon, the most pleasing thing for me as a manager, is that I think we've changed things and got most of our subs right. And I think little things against Lewis, where little twitches with TC going on the other side, Kane Pinker, it all helps, and even sometimes, John, do you know what, it's even a placebo thing, because if you're getting deep and then you're bringing on an attacker, players will look over to the dugout and go, God, we're being brave here, we're going for the win, we're not sitting back, we're not going to just try and sit back on a point. So it's all that psychology, mind games, even as well as game management, and now we do our formations. So thus far, so good.
I think it's been all right. The squad and the players as well. Like, we're so happy as a team. You got adaptable players that will do anything for the team. If you're getting put in a different position that may be uncomfortable for you, you could get a lot of players that just won't buy into that and just strop around maybe, or let the team down. Whereas in this team, you don't have any of that. Like, you could play any player anywhere and they'll do the best they can. Do you know what I mean? It's all very tight-knit. But again, Gary, John, Brownie, everyone, what they drill in the training pitch. The details, you can't not listen. If you're not listening, then we're getting bollocked, and the job of every player on the pitch. So it's a big. They definitely drum into us, is making sure the roles of you and everyone around you.
The thing is, it's like on Monday, it's teams like that. Their staff, their players, their fans are so desperate to beat us, and it's a massive 3 points to them. But why? We're not top. We're ninth. And it just means so much to beat Hastings because of what Hastings are and what's been built up over the last couple of years. They're all desperate to beat us, and yet we're not top. We're ninth. We're at the moment a mid-table club. It's and that's a nice thing to see. Is teams like that are so desperate still to beat Hastings.
Yeah.
Well, right then. So we were talking about August.
Sorry, yeah.
No,
we're a long way back.
We'll try and fly through it a little bit. Because I know I'm conscious everyone's been on here for a while. Just from a point of view of the drama. So, we lost Finn. He got that handball on the line. Did you put Alex in then, or did you put
3 centre backs on, didn't we, in that game?
Yeah, then we got so we had Ollie Black come on. So he would have been the centre half then, wouldn't he?
He played Jake Elliott.
Oh, Jake Elliott went centre half. Okay, right.
When Jake Elliott, and we got a great result at Lewis, and then that was sort of, I think, where did we go after that? Sorry. So obviously we had the disappointing result of Cray Valley, which we changed the team there. We had a few. Stoney was out injured, and then was Hassler out injured as well. Popey wasn't quite right that day either. So we had to change the team quite, and that obviously that shone throughout the game. To be fair, we looked weak that day, and then we come back with a vengeance at Kingstonian, which was a great display, and one where we batted away from there quite nicely and went on a little run after that up to the Bishop Stortford game, which was another gutter really, because that was another game really nothing in it, and we shouldn't have lost that one either.
No, the ones we lost, obviously the 3-0 one, the scoreline was.
But we battered them in the second half, didn't we? With 10 men, we absolutely battered them.
Yeah, we were brilliant second half.
I've been telling everyone that. Anyone who listens, I'm looking forward to Saturday to sort of. Obviously, they've had a very good season, but he would look at the score. There ain't been and think, it's a big loss. But it worked. We were annoyed that we hadn't won the game afterwards.
We played second half. I think we hit the bar a couple of times as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough game. I think you sort of, when you go up, you think, crikey. Hornchurch away, Hornchurch at home. They're the ones that you want to do a battle with and see where how you compare up against these teams.
We've gone through September then.
All I was going to say is just two major signings. Joe Gabode was great for us in that first spell, and also which even now Jake Elliott. So people look at Jake Elliott, Alex Breffo, especially as well, like defenders and that. But
Kane Penn,
Kane Penn been probably so far for me alongside Breffo. They're defenders, but they bring you so much attacking qualities as well. You just got to look at Jake Elliott against Horsham. You look at Breffo, can stay up high. He attacks things. He turns over the ball higher up the pitch. And you're in a better set position on the counter attack because of that. And they're little things where people think, we're not bringing attacking players in. They're not defenders. It creates the whole shape of the team and how high you're playing up the pitch or your turnover, how quick you can attack teams. So they're just two massive. Like Jake Elliott was a major coup for us getting him back.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and as well, like you're saying, you're attacking your back players are part of the attack principle, but the defence this season is so obvious. It starts from the front as well, doesn't it? You got Popey chasing down things. I just thought of that TC tackle on the halfway line a couple of games back and thought, everyone's so committed and you're pressing high and it's the work that people are doing when we haven't got the ball that is really impressive as well.
Yeah, anything for the badge. Ben sort of said earlier on in the chat, every player's committed. Everyone knows their instruction with and without the ball, and now we're pressing. And it's major for us that the forward line are also defending correctly and getting the pressure on right.
Yeah, even better with this badge, eh?
Starts.
No comment.
No comment. Good. Right, October. So we'd start with a journey to Metropolitan Police. How much fun was that?
No. We weren't good at all that day. Very lucky to get the win. Some home truths after that game. I'll be honest with you, Met Police, Bishop Stortford, we probably just slumped slightly both within those games where we weren't quite up to standard. And then once again emerges. You know, we go through a little bit of a sticky spell, and then look at the run we put together. Then the next two games were brilliant, and include Potter's Bar in that, because that was criminal that night. That was an absolute joke how we didn't beat them. They if it was a boxing match, it would have been called off. That for me is the best we've played. The first 45 in that game was immense, and they were lucky that night to get away with 3 points. Well, I don't know how they did it. I'm still gutted about it now. Yeah.
Popey, you still there, mate? Any thoughts on October? Obviously, you got a few goals there. Burgess Hill.
Yeah, Wingate and Finchley was a great game for us. We arrived, had like 25 minutes to get ready. Just got there, got on with it, and dominated the game. It was brilliant. Herne Bay again went and dominated. Potter's Bar, I wasn't there, wasn't involved. And then, Burgess Hill was good personally, and just for us to sort of get another, win on the board for the season.
Was that Alex Breffo's pile driver?
Yeah.
Burgess Hill one.
Yeah, what a goal.
That's a hell of a goal.
Unbelievable.
He's actually footed in here as well, I think. I couldn't tell you, he's that good.
Yeah, just before we go past, it's Breffo's goal. It's that and the Hasler strike, in it, the goal of the season so far for me. Yeah, he's one against Brightlingsea. Monster of a hit, wasn't it?
So then November, couple of defeats to begin with, but they were tight games. Particularly that Enfield game. I can't believe we didn't get anything out of that game.
Yeah, another one. We've had a few, to be fair. Like, really, if you look at our points tally, when you go through it, you're like, geez, we're probably sort of 5 points should be, really. But I always gauge what our defeats are like. And we got beat 1-0 to Billericay, beat 1-0 to Enfield. You're going there, Billericay, at a midweek. I've been part of teams that have gone there and been completely rolled over on a Tuesday night and had their bellies tickled. And I learned so much from our team spirit and togetherness from them defeats. Like, if you can go to Billericay and be within a goal, and it's for me, it's nothing to be negative about. You know that you're in and amongst it, and the players are rolling their sleeves up, and the both of them games straight away, there was no negatives from me. There was positives from both of those games.
Okay. Anyone else for thoughts on November?
I love those 2 cup games, the Tuesday night ones.
Oh, the Velocity Champions League.
The Velocity Champions League game it was wonderful. As going back to that thing of bringing the kids through and stuff, because they had a as strong as they can put out team. And it could have been men against boys, but the boys won. Yeah, and it was great to watch. It was a shame there was only 150 there, because it was great fun. It was really good to see the kids coming through and how well they did.
Crawley Town was amazing, really, wasn't it? Yeah. When they filled in half their first side, more or less, and we fully deserved that result against them.
The Crawley side, I think the side they put out against us, there were 7 or 8 of them played in a game in the league the other day.
There's a lot of them. Yeah,
wonderful performance. Those Tuesday nights were brilliant, very enjoyable.
Yeah, then obviously coming to an end at Chippenham Town.
Slightly disappointed with that one, to be fair. Thought that was sort of the return of Joe Gabode for his second loan stint as well, wasn't it? And that was like a game of 2 halves for me. I didn't think we got out of the blocks that well that day, and then picked it up second half, and then finished. I can't remember their goal, but I wasn't too happy with their winning goal, if I remember. But really, we should have been. We should have won that. To be like in my mindset, I don't think we performed that well. But
I've got a memory of that game of you calling all the players around in the first half and telling them to effing wake the F up. Very loudly.
That's not like me, Ian. I wasn't happy because Chippenham hadn't won an away game up to then, and I still look back on that and it still annoys me slightly, because you do want perfection, which you're never going to get. But yeah, just one of the things, we wiped our mouths and again get back to the training ground and get back at it.
And so November we obviously then beat Corinthian Casuals, who are probably the worst team I've seen at the Pilot Field this season. Would you agree with that?
It's strange as well, because it's strange because they have actually picked up a few results as well after us. I think they beat Billericay. They beat Billericay at Billericay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're off the bottom.
They had a good weekend as well, didn't they? or Monday even maybe. I think that's quite a very good result for them. I think.
I agreed with you, Chris.
Scored as well, didn't he?
I agreed with you, Chris. At the time, I thought that they're not a great team, but I actually look back at it and think maybe we underestimated the margin of victory that day. Maybe. So
maybe. Yeah, well, we'll beat them anyway.
So I was going to say Bognor was a brilliant point.
Yeah.
The chances to win that as well. Canvey, we should have won. And that's another similar game to Potter's Bar. Was banging my head after that night because we should have won that game. And then we've had a fantastic festive period where, if someone said to me, he's going to take 7 out of 9 points, I would have gone, yep, that'll do for us. And it's gone to plan. On pay, always write down a little 5-game target. And I had Margate as a win. I had Lewis as a win, and I had Horsham as a draw. So it's gone to plan.
Get down the bookies.
Yeah. What's the lorry numbers?
I'm not betting on that.
Well, that is December. Ben, do you want to say anything about December?
Christmas is a great time of year, isn't it?
Certainly is.
Yeah, it was apart from Bognor again, like you say, good point. Not a bad performance. Probably could have nicked it maybe. Canvey was a horrible game, freak sort of goal, and then they just parked the bus. And then just like the last 3 games we've been firing. It was it's good at the moment. So it's we're now in January and just trying with 8 games. It's a massive month really.
Yeah, he would be promoting Christmas, wouldn't he, with his popey pointed hat and everything.
Normally, I think it's injured, to be honest, over Christmas.
I think it's the new boots Popey got for Christmas. They're both left-footed.
Yeah, he runs circles around them.
Go into January sales and get some scoring ones.
So
I need to take the rockets off them. It won't be so quick though.
Can I ask?
I was going to say I read a few match reports and they said that I was deceptively quick as well when I was playing.
I want to know what they meant at Horsham that Craig's abrasive. I don't abrasive centre half, Craig Stone. What's that all about?
He must have had
Can I ask Gary? Looking at all the teams we played in this division we've jumped up to, is there any team you can look at and think they were better than us? We don't really have a chance of beating them.
No.
There's no one, is there?
No.
We've competed in every game, apart from probably the Cray Valley Cup game. Every game we've been right there.
Yeah, totally agree. They just all seem to, the top sort of playoff teams, and they've all got like a big stocky striker that scores goals. They all seem to have like a headlining act. But other than that, there's no difference. As I say, I feel we should probably have got 5 or 6 points, maybe more on the board if you look just at our performances and what they've deserved. But I've said it in numerous sort of newspaper interviews down our way. I've just said there's definitely nothing to fear, and that's I still stay that point of view. There is nothing to fear.
And I think what you said before to me was great. Really, you can have teams and they've got their star players, or you can have a team like you put together where there's no big egos, and it's the big egos that spoil the whole team spirit, isn't it?
It is 100%, and I'll always want that team spirit and camaraderie. I always want them to see me as a friend, but I think Mal hit the nail on the head as well. That there's got to be that line in the sand where there's got to be a little bit of fear there that if you don't perform, or if you're not honest with me, then we ain't going to get along. And the thing I think I do well, and I've probably learned that through plumbing and my business side of it, is that I'll libel anyone up and I would tell them what I feel they've got to be told. And I always allude to that Marcus Goldsmith conversation I had. That was another one. I remember sort of a couple of fans were saying, I don't think you've done that right, Gary, like letting Marcus go. But I've got to stay true to my guns. I knew I had the budget, what I had to work with, and I knew what we might get away with and what we might not get away with. And just said it was a tough conversation. It sort of almost ended in tears on both parties. But I just said I'll always eyeball anyone up and tell them what I think. And do what's right by Hastings.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, fellas, thank you very much for this. Thank you for this review of 22. Does anyone want to say anything else, or I'll pack it in?
Just thanks for your time, both. Yeah, brilliant.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Enjoyed it.
Popey, super Elphick. Thank you.
In the job for another week. That's all.
It's out of it. Right.
Yeah.
Malcolm knows, my agent knows, don't worry.
Yeah. We review it.
Oh, he's got his fingers into you now as well, has he, Gary? Oh.
Hey, you can't beat him. He's got Kent on lockdown. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I've got Kent on lockdown. I've got a few of them boys.
I said, why is Leon still at Icklesham?
Well, is Leon still alive? Nobody hears from Leon Pettit, do they? But I do know that Gary's got some money, Christmas money, that he's willing to spend. So I'll be knocking on his door in the next couple of weeks.
Easter's coming, Bill.
Yeah.
My boys don't come cheap. My boys don't come cheap.
All right.
But just a quick one from me, Chris, just to thank all the fans and been like absolutely brilliant. Thank my players, my staff, and hopefully we can just keep bringing smiles on faces, and we'll be working hard for it, and we'll be going for it.
Wow, it's been a great 22, mate. What a year brilliant. for the team. Anyway, Ben, thank you, Ben, Big Malk, Ian,
thanks, Ben. Cheers,
John,
Gary.
George, and of course Gary.
Cheers, Malk.
Appreciate it.
See you again.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers,
Thank you.
See you later.
Boys.